Hi, everybody. It's another amazing episode on Eat of Our podcast. And what I feel on this episode today is gratitude. I'm grateful to God Almighty. I think one of the things I wanted to achieve this year is growing as a person. And I think it is a good journey. It has been an amazing journey. I can't begin to tell how much growth I have seen around me and from myself. You know, when you are so key on something and you just want that to go for you, you just keep working on it. And even the course of my podcast and the course of my promoting my YouTube channel, I see growth, I see involvement, I am learning, unlearning, and relearning. It's just gratitude on this episode. We have a topic, and I think it's something that has affected everybody as individuals, and that is why I speak very well on growth, because I think when you grow as a person, you become more aware about what is happening in your environment. You evolve, you grow, you progress, most importantly. And I'm really grateful, guys. Thank you so much for everybody that has kept up with me in the course of season 2 Experience Luchi podcast. I am grateful. Words cannot tell how grateful I am. For those of you that share, for those of you that participate and engage on all platforms, thank you so much. I am really grateful. So before we get right into it, hi guys, you're welcome to the amazing episode on my podcast. I'm your host, Luchi Gloria, and we get to speak about a very broad topic, but I will try to limit it to what has happened around my environment. I think as a business person, I tend to see a lot of characters. I tend to meet a lot of people, and sometimes I'm shocked at people's behavior. And I come to realize that it is not really about the behavior, it is the ability for them to be aware of what is actually going on in their environment. And I titled today's topic Ignorance. I think a lot of us have one way or the other been ignorant about something, some situation. We do not, it's not that we are acting the way we act because we know we are acting that way. I just think it's because we are not really aware of what is going on. And I think ignorance just makes your growth as a person slow. A lot of things that I think I have not done at some point in my life, I think it's because I have been ignorant from the beginning. I have not been aware of situation. People think that ignorance is bliss. I had spoken to someone one day and I told the person that I think sometimes ignorance is bliss. But nah, guys, I don't agree anymore. I feel we should always try to be aware. I think one of the resolutions I had this year, even though I'm not sticking to it, is reading a lot of books. I spent a lot of money getting books, and I am still reading. I cannot disclose if I've finished one of the books I bought, but I just want to, I'm just saying this to show you how much more we need to expose ourselves as individuals, how much more we need to grow as individuals. I always talk about growth when I speak on my podcast because I think as individuals, growth is just something that is always going to be occurring. We are always going to want to grow. We always want to progress regardless of where we are at life. And ignorance is something that stops that growth. Sometimes you think you know. I think it's even more foolish on our side when we think we know something, and at the end of the day, we see we are not even aware of some important information that you need to know as a person. There's just something they call general knowledge. And sometimes, even when I speak to my brother, I'm like, you just have to know this. And he will tell me, everybody cannot be the same. I totally agree, but there are just some things. Common sense teaches you that. But some people do not have that common sense. So how would you argue this? My perspective, how will you argue this perspective? Like, not everybody wants to be aware, not everybody care about growth actually, and it's just crazy to see, man. And I would just keep saying, even though I say and complain about a lot of things, there are still a lot of things that I do not know about. There are still a lot of things I'm not aware about. Like I tell you, growing up as a child, because of I was really exposed to responsibilities very young. Not because I am not from a very calm, and we're actually okay. I think I've always been okay all my life. I don't think I've ever lacked. But I think I just grew up too quickly. I grew up too quickly, and I had to make some decisions at a very young age. Like I'm telling you this, I got into school very early, and when I progressed as a student, even down to being an undergraduate student, I was still very young. So a lot of decisions I made out of ignorance. I'm telling you, a lot of things I did out of ignorance, not because I was fully aware. I keep saying it. I do not think I am at a point. I do not think I am going to sit here and tell you that I regret some things, but I would tell you that if I was more aware of my environment, if I was more aware of the situation, my decision would be a lot, like the decision I would take if I was more aware of a situation would be very different. I promise you. Like being aware of things just gives you that edge of making a very nice decision. Ignorance is something that I come across with people, because why I speak on this topic, because I come across a lot of people in the course of doing business, and I will meet people that will just say some things and it's not just making sense to me. Like I will meet people and they're telling me things, and I'm like, common sense should tell you that we are in a world that is evolving. You should not be telling me to do that. One thing that has reoccurred as a business person is the fact that um I do a lot of transitions, and one of the moments one person is telling me, "Oh, I sent this money to you," and I'm like, "I've not received this money," and the person will legit tell me, "Oh, we have to go to the bank to lay complaints," and I'm like, "We are in a world where you don't really need to go to the bank all the time. Everything can be done from your app." And the person is really angry and saying, like the my bank official told me that you have to go to the bank to lodge the complaint. And I'm like telling you, I already spoke to my account officer. I already used my app, my self-service app to do that, and it's not there. The money is not there. And because I think they are not aware of the situation, that you really don't have to go to the bank to lay some complaints. You really don't have to be there for transactions to take place anymore. And they don't take it lightly when I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like I cannot really stress myself and go to the bank to lay complaint when I've just done that on my phone. I've done that, but they don't get it. And like it's really a big issue. Like one of this, like this thing I just said is really a big issue. Oh, when I went for, I think I was running a program during my birthday, and I was printing on shirts, and I sent one of my coworkers to go help me pick up the shirt from the guy that I had already transferred the money to him. So he got there, and the guy kept saying, "Okay, I never see a lot. I never see a lot." I'm like, "Bros, you don't." There are some days you will not even get a lot on your phone till over a week before you start getting those alerts. So am I supposed to wait? And I had the program we needed those shirts for was the next day, and he kept telling me, "Oh God, I never see your alert. I never see your alert." Do you know I had to like leave my workplace and head over to that place just because it was really urgent? I went there and I'm like, "Bros." I went there. I'm like, "Oga, give me your phone. Make I help you check something." He kept saying, "Oh, I don't have a mobile app. I don't have a mobile app." I'm like, "Bring your phone." And that is how we got the guys. That is how we got the guy's phone, and I eventually opened a mobile app for the person. I logged in, and the money was the first thing we saw in his transaction history. Like a lot of times, this particular behavior has offended me a lot of time. And for me personally, I think my experience when it comes to ignorance, because I'm not aware, I am someone that just likes to be on her own. Like I don't think I'm a loner, but I'm sane when I'm alone most times. Like I don't want to talk too much. I just want to be cool. Let's have a cordial relationship. Let's be respectable. And let's just be sane. Let's just be civil. That is my own. I just feel everybody should just respect each other. We don't have to have the closest relationship, even though I think the close relationship work helps sometimes. But I'm just like, be there, let me be there. So there's this business partner of mine, and he really came through for me when I was going through a tough time as a person, and I just knew that we had a relationship. So something happened to the person, and because I do not really expect too much from people, even though I expect as a human being, no matter what we say, we expect regardless. So I something really big happened to him. It is not that he lost somebody. That was not the case. Obviously, I was going to say he lost somebody, but he just had like a really huge situation with his business. And I remember him calling me. He told me about the situation and I consoled him. I was like, okay, everything's going to be fine. We move regardless. It's one of those things. And I thought I had done my best as a friend or as a daughter. He's really older than me. I thought I had done my part, and he came into town one of those days, and the next thing he called my mom because actually close. Obviously, my mom will run. My mom is always present in like most of our business, and he called my mom and like, "Whoa, Luchi, this is not good. I told her what happened to me, and she did not know she would come and see me. Maybe I arrive like my destination when he got into my town." And I'm like, "Am I?" Because when he even told me that, "Oh, I'm in worry," I'm like, "You're welcome, sir." And the call he called when he called my mom the next day, and he was not like, what she did to me, I don't like it. So I told her what happened, and she could not come and see me to look how the situation is going. I know I kept on with the situation on phone, but I did not see a reason to go see him like, hey, I'm here, what's up? And when he said that, I was surprised because even when I told my mom that, oh, he's in town, oh, do you think I should go and see him? She's like, I don't think it's really important. That is another instance where I was not aware of the situation. I was not aware of, oh, you're supposed to do this. Because sincerely, I did not see anything wrong with just keeping up with him on the phone as to go over and see him. I think it made him very happy that I came to see him. But to me, it was like, why I've been keeping up with you, I've called you, I've tested, I've encouraged, what more can I do? But apparently you needed to go see the person as someone that has like a really close relationship. Another instance is a part where people do things for you and there is just this expectation of, oh, because I've always been there for you, have a certain amount of loyalty to me. You should be able to tell that this is the part you should not cross. No matter what you think is involved, no matter the amount of money you think is involved, this is a part. You are loyal to your boss, you are loyal to your boss. There is no question or there is no bantering about it. You know this is right. So I think one of our co-workers, we are really close knitted in our workplace. So when someone is going through it, everybody's literally involved in the business. But apparently, sometimes when we really, really need this person to be there, and I think because the person is also not aware of your duty to people that have been there for you. And I know I keep telling my mommy, don't expect. People will always be people. Don't expect too much. People will always turn out to be who they are. But because again they are not really aware of their duty in quotes, quote and unquote, they would not live up to this expectation. And I think again the factor is ignorance. People are not just aware of the situation. They do not even know. It is not that they are trying their best to piss you off. It's not that they are trying their best to annoy you or make you uncomfortable about the situation. They sincerely are not aware of what they are doing wrong. Does that make sense? A lot of us, we have created enemies knowingly and unknowingly because of ignorance. Does that make sense? We have stepped on people's toes. Like I remember there's a time I was going to speak, I had like a really rough issue with my friend. Because I know I was saying I'm very blunt. I would like to think that I pass my points across to people in a very sane and respectful manner. I love to think that. But people think that I'm really blunt, which I don't think so. But if it's reoccurring, then probably it's true. And a lot of times now I don't talk because if I talk straight. And people would say that I'm sensitive to situation when I talk, and genuinely, I'm really not aware that being truthful to someone sometimes not really it's not something people appreciate, and it's crazy to me because would you rather I go around circles? Would you rather I pass across to you a quoted truth than really expressing myself about how I truly feel about the situation? I come across as a very, very direct person, but I try my best not to be really direct just because I don't want to offend people, because I'm really more aware now. At growing up, when I became aware of who I am, or who I was, I knew that one of the things that will make me really confident is just expressing myself and saying things as it is most of the time. So then, if you meet me, I would be like I would tell you, like, when something is just popping in my head and I just refine it once. I'm saying it immediately. But growing up and working on myself as a person, I noticed that sometimes some truths are best left unsaid, and it still does not make sense to me. Sometimes I'm pushed to I want to actually say something, but I need to be aware of, oh, that is not what the person is looking for right now. Regardless of if, no matter how honest you are as a person, I don't need your truth. Keep it to yourself, because it's going to piss me off the most. It's going to piss me off the more. And I was just like, step back and keep my mouth shut. So what I'm saying on today's episode is, regardless of the fact that ignorance is actually a thing, a big thing actually in most of our lives, we should help ourselves. I always say this. I know that I always highlight that I'm not the best at conversations, but I speak so well, mind you. But sometimes when I'm nervous, or when I have like when I think I should deliver the best I can, I tend to like shrink and just like be calm, because people say I'm a perfectionist. Like, I try to be a perfectionist, but I just think I'm organized, and maybe too organized for my own sake. But I'm saying that ignorance is something that is a thing that we should all be aware of. I should be aware of, and we should try as much as possible to be aware of the environment, to be aware of where we might not be doing the best as individuals. Is there any aspect I've not spoken about, like something that really, really annoyed me? But a lot of times you speak to people and you're like, yeah, you're from like, what continent are you from? And you cannot really, really like understand where they are coming from. It's actually a thing, and I think all this is because they are not aware. So pushing this, I'm working to be more aware of where I think I'm not doing good as a person, I'm not doing my best as a person. And I think is another thing that would contribute to growth, which I am really, really keen on this season. Growth. Whether it's relationship, whether it's your relation, whether it's your growth. I just feel like everybody, I just really believe that working on our ignorance as a person would aid our growth as a person. I'm going around circles, but yeah, that is my point for today's episode. Okay, guys, like I always say, don't forget to stream this podcast on Anchor, Spotify, and on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm begging. Like, I really have like interesting vlogs on interesting videos on Thursdays. Please watch, engage, and get a little peep of what I do with my little time. And guys, as you can see, I'm repping another brand, another merch from AWL, and we're trying, and I'm just like putting out one or two designs so you can see what we want it to look like, what I want it to look like. And yeah, I am again grateful for everybody that has kept up with this brand, with this podcast. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Okay, guys, don't forget to follow me across all social media platforms at Luchi on X, formerly Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. We also have a podcast page. Either on this podcast, please follow me on all platforms. Okay, guys? Like I always say, let's spread love. Love is God. God is love. I'm your host, Luchi. I'm super excited. Guys, grateful. I'm grateful. I love you guys. Have an amazing week. You cannot even, I wish you the best of the best this week. Bye, my loves.